Nepal's political brinkmanship has now reached dangerous levels. It has turned an old and minor border dispute into a full-blown diplomatic crisis. It's a story we've been following closely. Here's a quick recap. 2nd May, China claimed Mount Everest was Chinese territory. Not a word of protest from Nepal. 8th May, India inaugurates a road inside Indian territory. Nepal protests and then provokes. In fact, there have been 3 provocations in a week now. An incorrect map, the Prime Minister's speech, and now Nepal blaming India for the virus that came from China. This is preposterous. Let's take these one by one. First, the government of Nepal issued a new map. This map shows 3 regions, Limpi-Adura, Lipu Lake and Kalapani as part of Nepal. These 3 territories that India claims as its own. In other words, these are disputed territories. But now Nepal has decided it controls them, at least on the map. Then Nepal's Prime Minister added fuel to the fire with his words. He said, and I quote, "The issue will not fade away anymore. We are least bothered." Listen to the tone. "We are least bothered if anyone gets angry. We will reclaim the land at any cost." And today he took it one step further. Prime Minister KP Sharma Oli of Nepal is now blaming India for the rising cases of the Wuhan virus in his country.
The COVID-19 infection from Wuhan was soft. The virus infections imported from Italy and UAE were relatively soft. But the virus infection from India was a hard one.
This is both baseless and bizarre, especially at a time like this when the top priority for any government should be fighting the pandemic made in China. Nepal is provoking India. And for what? Look at the record. India and Nepal share a border that is roughly 1,700 kilometers long. Both sides have settled 98% of their boundary disputes. They have a solid mechanism in place to settle differences. Had Nepal wanted, it could have resolved all of this bilaterally and amicably. But Nepal has chosen not to do it, or it has been told not to do it. Either way, Kathmandu decided to dump dialogue and take on India. What is the problem? This pass. It is called Lipu Lake Pass. India has inaugurated a new route for the Kailash Mansarovar Yatra. The road runs through Lipu Lake. This path has always been used by India for the Mansarovar Yatra. This is not new. The only difference now is that there's a proper link road, a road that India did not hide from Nepal. This project has been in public domain since 2008. So why this reaction now? The road is completely in Indian territory. 2 other disputed regions are nearby, Kalapani and Limpi-Adura. This area is at the tri-junction of Nepal, India and Tibet. There is frankly nothing new that Nepal is so worked up about. This has been a long-standing issue that could have been resolved without the theatrics of Kathmandu. In Nepal, people and politicians have often protested India's claims. Both sides were holding a dialogue to settle this. Then all of a sudden, Nepal decided that the time for talks is over. And it released maps showing the disputed regions as its own. Guess who is backing them? Actor Manisha Koirala, the one who made a career in Bollywood. She replied to a tweet from the Foreign Minister of Nepal and has been subjected to a flood of criticism since then. Koirala lives and works in India but sides with Nepal. She is Nepalese by origin. Manisha Koirala is the granddaughter of BP Koirala, the former Prime Minister of Nepal. Clearly, Nepal is now trying to spin this border dispute as a matter of national pride. In the process, it is sacrificing a time-tested friendship with India. What explains this? A foreign hand. Indian Army Chief General M.M. Naravane has said this. He said that the protest by Nepal was at, quote-unquote, someone else's behest. This was last week. He was talking about China, obviously. Increasingly, Nepal has been behaving as a vassal state of China. Recently, the Chinese ambassador to Nepal was seen holding a series of meetings with senior members of Nepal's ruling party, a sign of clear interference by China in Nepal's domestic politics. China's influence has increased considerably in Nepal. It is believed that China engineered the grand alliance of two of the biggest communist parties in Nepal. In 2018, KP Sharma Oli and Pushp Kamal Dahal, better known as Prachand, had joined hands to form the Nepal Communist Party. This alliance managed to win power in Nepal, but the infighting has not stopped. And reports say that Pushp Kamal Dahal Prachand wants Oli, the Prime Minister, to step down. Facing the risk of a potential collapse of his government, the Prime Minister of Nepal seems to have taken a tough stand against India. Oli is trying to paint India as a bully, only to show himself in contrast as a strong nationalistic leader. The not-so-invisible Chinese hand is guiding Nepal along a dangerous path. So what's India saying? There's news just coming in. After Nepal issuing these new maps claiming Indian territories as its own, India has issued a statement. The Ministry of External Affairs in New Delhi has said, and I'm quoting, "This unilateral act is not based on historical facts and evidence. Such artificial enlargement of territorial claims will not be accepted by India. Nepal is well aware of India's consistent position on this matter, and we urge the government of Nepal to refrain from such unjustified cartographic assertion and respect India's sovereignty and territorial integrity."